You gain control of J.K. Rowling's Twitter account for a day. What unnecessary piece of information do you add to Harry Potter lore? Buckbeak is an animagus who is fully intelligent and capable of turning back into a human at any time, but doesn't because it's his fetish. Make the fan theory that the surviving Weasley twin becomes the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka later in life. The composition of the wand means nothing. A wizard could use a plastic drinking straw and it would work just fine, as long as they expect it to work. Harry wakes up in Hogwarts and everyone is gone for Christmas vacation when he has to defend the school from being robbed by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Edit. Silver. Damn. Thanks y'all. D. The sorting hat was %100 unnecessary for class distribution. Its primary purpose was to get rid of head lice. Completely unnecessary. And X200B. For a brief time in 1956, teenaged wizards used to bewitch vacuum cleaners to use in lieu of broomsticks. When you're using the invisible cloak, you're not actually invisible, you're naked, they just choose to ignore you as to not make things awkward. All of the really batshit information. Nagini being a cursed Korean lady. The vanishing shits. The whole cursed child play. All of that was just a Quibbler article. Oh Xeno Lovergood. You endearing fruitcake. Hogwarts in the 60s was a drug-fueled Technicolor dancing orgy every night, and the only reason it doesn't come up more often is because not a lot of people clearly remember it. Fred and George Weasley switched places during the Battle of Hogwarts. When George died, Fred adopted George's life, complete with cutting off his ear, because he figured George wouldn't want him to spoil the joke. There's a witch writer called K.J. Loring, famous for her Muggle book series Harold Rogers, where the protagonist engages in wacky Muggle adventures. Edit. 48 inbox notices and not one Hogwarts letter. At the time of bringing his kids to Platform 9, 3/4 at the end of the 7th book, Harry is out on bail for wizard tax evasion due to hiring Percy as his accountant. That the cauldron Voldemort was rebirthed in during Goblet of Fire used to belong to Horace Sloane. It was gifted to his favorite student, Tom Riddle, the year Riddle left Hogwarts. The reason Dumbledore didn't bring back Harry's parents with the time turner is because Dumbledore always wanted a son of his own, but then changed his mind a few years later and dumped him at the Dursleys. I double down and declare that some of the older teachers at Hogwarts would forget they were supposed to use toilets now, so occasionally they'd just drop trow and urinate in front of everyone. Underneath the robe, Professor McGonagall is actually two twin dwarfs standing on each other's shoulders. They take turns being on top so the other doesn't get tired. I would 100% post that meme. JK. Rowling reveals that you, the reader, were gay all along. But besides that, I would talk about the required procedure behind the pre-plumbing shitting wherever you want then making it disappear thing. Also, WTF JKR, why couldn't they have had magical outhouses? Why did it have to get weird? In order to have the feast so lovingly described, house elves of Hogwarts had perfected the art of reusing leftovers multiple times. They secretly go to cheap restaurants and learn from muggles. Recently they discovered internet, and now Dean Thomas's mother prints out for them every tip and trick she can find at Frugal Living blogs. Muggle orphanages know about magic, and when an orphan shows magical prowess they phone the Ministry of Magic for pickup and leave the baby outside. The ministry hasn't figured out how voicemail works and never come to pick up the children. Harry doesn't have a left pinky toe. It was the only part of him hurt by the killing curse when he was a baby. And then all of us fan theorists will wonder why Lily didn't love his left pinky toe. I don't think I could top the post she made about wizards disappearing their poo with magic before muggles invented toilets. I'd clarify that Dumbledore wasn't really gay, just gay for pay. Figure that way, nobody is happy. Moaning Myrtle was masturbating in the bathroom when she dies, hence the name Moaning Myrtle. She was reported as crying based on what an ignorant first year claimed. I actually always envisioned Dumbledore aggressively asking Harry, maybe even yelling, if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire. There is a Wizarding World version of magic, the gathering called Muggles, the congregation. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. The sock that freed Dobby was actually a Potter family heirloom, having been worn by Bobby Charlton in the 1966 FIFA World Cup final. The Potters were very quiet about how they came to acquire it. That the Queen of England is a living Horcrux and that's why she just won't die. Edit. Ooh, shiny. Thanks. The goblins at Gringotts don't have children. They just randomly split one day during a mitosis-like process and then go about their days. Their suits are part of this process. My amazing so. Ron and Hermione's safe word is mudblood. ETA. And now my most voted comment is about wizards fucking. Time to put on my robe and wizard hat and start writing fanfic, I guess. Dobby's asshole has the same properties as a bag of holding and can expand to accommodate any object no matter the girth. Hermione has been secretly hoarding corn. Yes, as in corn on the cob, in her room since she was very young. Even after she left for Hogwarts, she continued to hoard corn in her dorm. She never speaks about it. She just quietly collects the vegetable as if it's second nature. One day, Harry and Ron discovered her corn stash. Since then, they frequently ask her about why she collects corn, but she pretends she never heard that and keeps talking to them about the things they were previously discussing. The Forbidden Forest is forbidden because Dumbledore and Hagrid have an illegal grow-op hidden inside. The Wizarding School is a front to launder money. Fun HP fact. Ron's feet squeak like clown's feet wherever he walks. It echoes in the halls of Hogwarts. Draco Malfoy is a werewolf. It's already true, but I'd end the debate. http://www.dracomalfoysoyolf.com/ Dudley Dursley has a muggle-born daughter. She gets her Hogwarts letter and Dudley reconnects with Harry so he can learn about magic and be the opposite of his parents. After learning the fact that witches and wizards used to shit on the spot, I don't think there's any more unnecessary info to be added, lol. In the late 90s, an American wizard decided to invent padded grips that a witch or wizard could slip onto their wand for personal preference and a better handle on casting their spells. The product was called a woody, and Arthur Weasley, with his extensive interest in muggle items and lingo, was the only one who seemed to find it hilarious. Nobody gives a fuck about Harry after he graduates, and he ends up spending the rest of his life bitter and working as a barista at Wizard Starbucks in Hogsmeade. Even though it's very much obvious, I would like to clear the air and state, categorically, that all this time, you, my dear readers, are indeed homosexual. Luna Lovegood's husband dies in a crumple-horned Snorkack-related accident and she remarries Neville Longbottom. They have 2 children together and have a happy, blended family while Neville goes on to become one of the most renowned herbologists in Hogwarts history, using Luna's talents for hunting the unknown and Neville's unparalleled bravery to find new species of plants that help cure Alzheimer's and other memory-related issues. They die in Peru at the ripe age of 102 and 99 respectively, in a homping mangrove accident. Witches and wizards have microscopic beings called magi-chlorians that live within their bodies which grant them access to magic. Israel and Palestine have a singular wizarding school, because while the Muggles haven't, the wizards in the region came to peace hundreds of years ago. Edit. Peace not peace, lol. There are some scientist wizards, which dedicate themselves to study how the physical universe and the spiritual magical one interact on a subatomic level. Just because. I'd give Harry another son and name them Remus Rubius so that Lupin and Hagrid got fucking acknowledgement for having an affect on Harry throughout his life. Hermione's muggle parents were actually adoptive parents and her real parents were Lord Voldemort and Bellatrix Lestrange, but they dumped her at a muggle orphanage because they were too busy subverting the wizarding world to be tied down with an infant. From the early 2000s, numerous children have rejected their Hogwarts acceptance letters in favor of the continued use of technology. I figure if an 11-year-old today discovered that magic meant no more Fortnite or memes, they'd just rip the paper up. Draco has a son named Bakia who's in Hufflepuff and later owns a small bakery, where he sells high-quality edibles. That Neville was the true chosen one all along. Dumbledore just chose Harry, a similarly qualified child, to groom because he was in love with James Potter. Edit. A word. A scene after the Deathly Hallows ending, revealing paramedics pulling a limp 11-year-old Harry Potter from the cupboard under the stairs, and resuscitating him from carbon monoxide poisoning due to the leaky furnace. Young Harry says, "I had the most wonderful dream. I was a wizard." Uncle Vernon exclaims, "You're going to pay for the rescue wagon. And you probably broke the furnace too." Aunt Petunia calls him an insufferable child. Dudley laughs while eating an entire pie. Calls Harry a wanker. There is a fantastic beast called Jar Jar Binks that is very important that was present during the famous battle between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.